This is a review of the Canadian IVEY PMI results from Wednesday, February 6th, 2013 that took place at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. The trade plan that was posted tells us that we're going to be looking at the USD CAD, and the trigger that we're looking for is a plus or minus 1.2. Well, in this particular case, the forecast was 53.7. The actual was 58.9. That is a deviation of 5.2 on the Canadian IVEY PMI. Therefore, the trigger was definitely met. We're now going to take a look at some charts to see how this particular trade ended and actually where it started. And actually, it's still in motion because it's only 3:37 as I'm recording this. And this trade can still run for a while. So let's take a look at the charts and see where we are. Here we're looking at the US dollar Canadian chart, 1 minute chart. The trade plan had 3 points that we needed to speak about. The first one was a deviation, which was 1.2 was required as a trigger. We actually had a 5.2, so the trigger was definitely met. The other point was the pair is the US CAD, and the third point is we're going to look at a 1 minute chart, which we have in front of us, and we can already see the release data. The release candle has come out, and the trade plan lets us know that we need to trade this in direction of the release information. Well, in this case, the Canadian dollar should strengthen. The deviation was a positive 5.2. If the Canadian dollar strengthens against the USD, that means we would go short on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. We're going to make a note as to, according to the trade plan, where we would have entered this trade. Now, if you had entered this trade early based on the results, you would have had naturally a much better entry than we had here at 99679. Now let's start to move this forward, and let's see where it takes us. Again, we're short from this point forward. And we see it goes against us for a little bit, about the first 3 minutes, and then it begins to drop away on us. And there we are. And as this continues out, initial drop takes us to a 9958, 9958, 9957, gives us a quick 10 pip move. Then comes up again, tests our entry point, and then drops off again down to 99537. That is a 15-16 pip move in our favor. At this point, you need to make a decision whether or not you're going to take part of the profit and move your stop to break even, or you're going to hang on to this trade. I've now switched this over to the 5 minute chart, just to make it easier for us to observe what is happening and where we're at on this particular trade. Again, here's the release information. Here's where we would have entered the trade on the first 1 minute candle. Picked up 15 pips on this initial move down. And as we move out through the day, it comes back up, retests our entry point, and then as we sit here at this very moment, back down to the 52-53 range. If you had set your stop in the 20 to 30 pip range from the 67 to 87, that would put you up in this area, never in question. Even if you had set your stop above the pre-release price, never threatened, never an issue. This trade was pretty painless from a standpoint of just following the trade plan and then managing the trade. Again, the question becomes, what are you doing when you get to these low points? Do you take part of the profit as you start to climb back up out of this, or do you maintain your stop and let the trade run? At some point in time, we know that we are no longer trading Canadian IVEY PMI, and that we are now just trading the breathing in and out of the market. Whatever is driving the price is no longer the Canadian IVEY PMI. Even though it was that strong, there are many other factors that take place throughout the day that affect the price. So the question becomes, now we are entering the end of the session as it relates to the U.S. session, and we won't see much movement in the price until we get closer to the Australian Open, and then again in the 2 o'clock when the European markets begin to open. So again, not a bad trade, not a fantastic trade where you pick up 50, 60 pips, but it's a solid trade, not much pain, and was definitely in my mind a positive trade. Hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll talk to you later.